Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran kathira. Amma ba'du, my dear brothers and sisters, last week we were talking about what built a man like Ibrahim alayhi salam, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu loved and called him his Khalil. It was this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that built the man Ibrahim alayhi salam, who when he was in his 80s, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed with a son, Ismail alayhi salam. Then when Ismail alayhi salam was still nursing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Ibrahim alayhi salam to take him and his mother Hajar alayhi salam and leave them in the barren valley of Bakka. Plot this route on a map from Palestine to Makkah. Ibrahim alayhi salam and our mother Hajar alayhi salam walked that entire journey. Who guided them? What route map did they use? How did Ibrahim alayhi salam know that he had reached his destination when he reached there? There were no signposts, there was not even a habitation there. The stories of the Quran al-Kareem are meant for us to reflect upon, to put ourselves in that place and ask, what would I have done? The answer depends on my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on my tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have gotten very used to using this term, tie the camel, thanks to COVID. But seriously, we need to ask ourselves, where is my iman? Where is my real trust? On Allah or on the rope of the camel? Because that is shirk. Tawakkul ala al-asbab wa shirk. To have faith and trust in asbab is shirk. Using asbab, no problem. But to use the asbab and to imagine that you are getting benefit from them is shirk. Tawheed is to use something, to see something happening from a place and know that it is not happening from there, but it is happening by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not semantics, this is not philosophy. This is haqq. This is what Islam is. Think about that before you talk about using the rope. Tie the camel. Where is our iman? Is it on the rope of the camel or is it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu? On my tawakkul on Allah, my trust in Allah, the real trust, not a claim of trust. This is what Ibrahim alayhi salam demonstrated. He left them. No explanation. Because that was part of the instruction. Do not give any explanation. It was a test for both, for Hajar alayhi salam and for Ibrahim alayhi salam. She called out to him, "Where are you going? Leaving us here?" No response. He's walking away. "Did your Rabb order you to do this?" She's asked him. He nods his head. That's it. What does she say? She says, then go. Then go. He will not allow us to perish. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, Ya Rahim, Ya Azizul Ghafoor, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Where does this come from? This complete faith in you, Jalla Jalaluhu. Ya Rab, have mercy on us, because this is very tough. This is a very tough standard to be compared to. We are not capable, Ya Rab. Please cover us with your mercy and grace. And forgive us. You know what we are, don't test us. You know what we are, we know what we are. Don't test us, please. Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he reached a place where his wife couldn't see him, he stops and he makes dua. Listen to this dua. ربنا إني أسكنت من ذريتي بواد غير ذي زرع عند بيتك المحرم ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة فاجعل أفئدة من الناس تهوي إليهم وارزقهم من الثمرات لعلهم يشكرون. O our Rabb, I have made some of my offspring to dwell in an uncultivable valley by your sacred house, the Kaaba, in order, O our Rabb, that they may establish a salah. So fill some hearts among people with love towards them. And O Allah, provide them with fruits so that they may give thanks. SubhanAllah. Let us put ourselves in the place of Ibrahim alayhi salam, assuming we can even get to where he is at this juncture. What is the dua that we would make? I speak for myself. For myself, the first thing I would ask for would be safety for my family, so that they can survive and not become a meal for the first predator that comes along. Then I would ask for food for them and shelter, so that they can continue to survive. But what is Ibrahim alayhi salam asking for? The totally amazing thing is that Ibrahim alayhi salam is not even asking for safety. What does he understand that I don't? He knows, not just as information, but deep down in his being, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to do this, the safety of his family is a given. To ask for that would really mean that he didn't understand who Allah is, and would in a way be a lack of adab, a lack of respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ta'ala Allahu al-amthal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond any examples that we can give. But it would be like you leaving your child with us, with me and my wife, while you go away for a weekend and saying, Yawar Baig, please make sure that he is safe and cared for. I would consider that an insult. And I would hand your child back to you and say, please leave him with whoever you don't need to say that to. Why is Allah telling us this story, Jalla Jalaluhu? Because what we wish for depends on our position and our knowledge. To give you an example, when I board a plane, I think about my seat, in-flight service, a nice meal, and then a nice snooze to sleep. The pilot also boards the same plane with me. What is he thinking? Seat, food, and snooze? Why is he thinking differently from me? Because he's the pilot. His job is not to ride in the plane, but to fly it. His priorities are different because of his role and his knowledge. What is our role as Muslims? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send us to do? But what are we doing? In Ibrahim alayhi salam's language, first and foremost, note the adab. He takes the responsibility for the predicament in which he is leaving his wife and baby in a dangerous place, totally alone and defenseless. He doesn't say, well, you know, I had to do that, so now please take care of them. He doesn't say that. He says, I have left them in this place so that they may establish your worship. Give them followers and supporters, and provide them with high-end fruits. He's asking for fruits, high-end fruits. He's not asking for bread. He's asking for dessert. He knows that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to use you, He will provide you with sustenance. So if I want to ask for something, then I'm going to ask for the best and the highest level of it. His order of precedence in the dua also shows us what is truly important. Everything begins with recognizing our Rabb Jalla Jalalu and worshipping Him as is His right. Everything good flows from that. Then comes the final test before he is to be given the job of building the house of Allah. Maybe 5 or 8 years later, he returns to the place where he has left his wife and son. Maybe he had no news of them until then. Allah knows best. But Allah sends him a dream. It's a very strange and a very difficult dream. Ibrahim alayhi salam sees that he is sacrificing his little son, slaughtering him in sacrifice to Allah. Now, this is what is going on in his mind and heart as he is walking the miles back to Makkah from Palestine. How easy it is to tell this story. How much more difficult is the reality. It's not even a comparison. I have no way of comparing that. Allah tells us what happened when he reached there. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيَ قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. And when he, that is the son, was old enough to walk with him, he's not a teenager, he's not a mature man, just old enough to walk with him. And when he, the son, was old enough to walk with him, he said, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "O my son, I have seen a dream that I am slaughtering you in sacrifice to Allah. So look, fanzur madha tara. So look, what do you see? Look, what do you see?" And he said, the son said, "O my father, do that which you are commanded. Insha'Allah, if Allah's will, if Allah wills it, you shall find me of as-sabirin. You will find me, you will find that I will be patient." Think about that. Ibrahim alayhi salam is talking to a little boy who grew up in an agrarian society where they have flocks of sheep and goats and other animals and they eat meat. Slaughtering is nothing new for him. He understands what is slaughtering. In many countries, in many places, they get the boys used to this, so little boys go and they want to learn how to slaughter, so the fathers take them and they slaughter. So for all you know, Ismail alayhi salam has already slaughtered sheep with his own hand. Even if he didn't do that, he knows what it means. He's seen this multiple times, God knows how many times. So when his father is saying to him, "I have seen in a dream that I am slaughtering you," this is nothing new to him. He understands what is the meaning of slaughter. Now therefore think about his answer in that context. Ibrahim alayhi salam asked, "Madha tara?" What do you see? He did not ask, "Madha ta'taqid?" What do you think? I know that colloquially speaking, you can say "Madha tara" instead of "Madha ta'taqid," meaning the same thing. Obviously, Ibrahim alayhi salam is not asking what do you see in a physical sense. But by see is meant understanding, which is not the same as think. Thought is in our control. We can choose what to think. And usually that is a good place to be. Understanding, however, means to see the truth behind the experience. You're not controlling anything. It's like a doctor diagnosing a disease. He sees the signs and understands what is happening and what is creating those signs. He's not choosing anything. Given a choice, he would choose perfect health for his patient, but he has no power to choose. However, on his correct understanding and interpretation of signs lies the best chance for his patient to get the right treatment. That is the meaning of seeing, and that is what makes it different from merely looking. The language of the Quran is extremely specific, and it is my husn zan about my Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu that he used the word he did so that we could learn from it. And of course, Allah knows best. In another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا أَوْ أَذَانٌ يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, have they not traveled throughout the land? So their hearts may reason and their ears may listen. Indeed, it is the eyes. Indeed, it is not the eyes. Indeed, لا تعمى الأبصار. Indeed, it is not the eyes which are blind, but it is the hearts in the chests that grow blind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this spiritual blindness and lack of understanding of what is happening in our lives. Think about that. This is a conversation between a 90-year-old man and his less than 10-year-old son. A son he saw as a tiny nursing baby. The last time he saw his son, he was a tiny nursing baby. For the son, this is the first time that he is seeing his father. What must have been going through his mind? Think about the question. Ibrahim alayhi salam is asking his son how he experiences Allah, not what he thinks about Allah. When will we ever reach here if we never reflect? Because we are stuck inside our phones. We have enslaved ourselves to our gadgets and expect technology to solve all our problems. In that case, let's find a Jannah app to get there. My brothers and sisters, his son, Ismail alayhi salam, is the product of having been raised by a single mother. But the way he was raised, he not only knows his father and loves him and respects him, but knows that his father is a Rasul of Allah, is a messenger of Allah. He knows what that means. And so is not surprised at the question. He has been raised so that he is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he knows his heart. When his father says, look, what do you see? He doesn't need to ask, look where? See what? He knows where to look. He doesn't hesitate. He's not confused. He answers. Ya abatif al ma'tumaru satajiduni insha'Allahu minas sabirin. O my father, he said, O my father, do what you are commanded. Insha'Allah, you will find me among the patient people, among the sabirin. Their Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu loves this so much that he tells us the story of what happened thereafter. Think about this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our witness. He is the witness of everyone and everything, no matter what. But with Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family, Allah is their witness, proudly praising them. That is the difference. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us their story in such loving detail, so that we can aspire to be like them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be people who He, Jalla Jalaluhu, will love. Allah said, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ سَلَامٌ عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Allah said, then, when they had both submitted themselves to the will of Allah, and he, Ibrahim alayhi salam, had laid him, Ismail alayhi salam, prostrate on his forehead or on the side of his, or on his side of his forehead for slaughtering, and we called out to him, O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the dream, the vision. Verily thus we reward the muhsinun. We reward the people who of ihsan, people of excellence. Verily, that indeed was a manifest trial. Allah is bearing witness. Allah said this was a very difficult test. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice, a ram. And we left for him a good remembrance among generations to come. Salamun ala Ibrahim. May salam, may safety, security, peace be upon Ibrahim alayhi salam. The reward of such a life was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the honor of building his house, the Kaaba, to Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, and made the place of his standing, Maqam Ibrahim, a blessed place, and called it a sign of Allah. He called it his sign, and made the whole story of their obedience the manasik, the rites of Hajj. Ibrahim alayhi salam obeyed Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that obedience an act of worship for everyone after him. Hajar alayhi salam ran between the hills, Safa and Marwa, because she was doing her part in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was her need. And Allah made that act an act of worship for everyone after her. Ismail alayhi salam displayed submission and patience with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that an act of worship for everyone who comes after him. Not just any ordinary act, but an act of worship, the Hajj, the reward of which is complete cleansing from sin. That story is remembered and enacted and has benefited uncounted millions of Muslims for 4,000 years and still counting. That is the reward of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Finally, all this happened because of one single but critical attitude about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us and mentioned that attitude as the signature of Ibrahim alayhi salam. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When his Rabb said to him, submit, be a Muslim, he said, I have submitted to the Rabb of the Alameen. My brothers and sisters, I remind myself and you that all goodness begins with submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without submission, we are outside the gate. When we submit, the gate opens for us, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces us to his marvels and his rewards. All success in this world, all power, all influence lies in becoming someone that Allah loves. For such a person, love and respect for him and obedience to him and influence in his words and remembrance for him long after he has passed are established in the hearts of people. Nobody remembers your possessions. Nobody cares what you owned. People remember what you did for them. Those who love Allah benefit others, and so they are remembered. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to count us among those who love him and who he loves. وصلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.